this computer. Beautiful. Well, folks, welcome to this Go for Diamond webinar this evening. And the purpose of the call, as it was stated in previous emails, is understanding the enhancements of the compensation plan. And I think it's, the changes are not really that complicated to understand, but I really do believe that it will be very, very significant. Understanding the amount of people that will be impacted by it. So what we're going to be doing is Tammy and I are going to start with a PowerPoint that was created that Max has asked Tammy and I to share, to do, which I actually did because it was they asked me to do it in French, and I hope you see your approve. But I think the slides were in English because at the time they asked me to have the video ready. I basically didn't even have 24 hours to prepare. So I basically created this particular slide here, which we'll be sharing, so people understand the process of how this. Just one moment here. The process of how the actual compensation plan works and the changes. And once I've gone through these slides, so we understand the differences, then I'll step to the compensation plan PDF the company has adjusted, and also all the information that we're sharing will actually be available on the comment section where the video will be uploaded. Okay. But also keep in mind that it is accessible from your Max back office. And you probably have noticed if you've been logging into your Max back office that things have changed a little bit. And keep in mind that there is a lot of work that's being done that's not showing yet, and you can still access the old back office. And in the event that you're looking for something that may not be showing in the new back office as you log in. The other important element, I think it's really, really critical that we all participate in with comments and questions. And what I mean by that is there might be some areas where you may feel that I'm clear or not as clear. You need to expand on some areas, or you have some questions. Feel free to post them on the chat section. So that way we can come back to them. And if there's no question, everything's fine. But if you do have some questions or even concerns, do post them there so we can address them. And of course, as I said earlier, the video will be uploaded on our usual channel and on the active team. Now, another thing that you probably haven't noticed, let me share that with you here. I think it's important that we mention that with more and more, Tammy and I do talk about it. If you go to our team website, and let me just start another session here. Okay, so if you go to our activeteam.com, you'll notice over here that there's this little button here. It's a button where if you click on, it will actually register you. Okay, so because it's my account, it knows it's grayed out for me. But if you see, it says that you don't.
Chris, I can't see it. I don't know about everybody else.
Oh, okay. Let me just stop the sharing for a moment. And let me try
I'm
this.
the same. Can't see it.
Okay, let me try this again, and that would probably be a bit easier. Okay, sorry for my screen here. There's a lot going on. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll notice over here, for me, it says no need to subscribe yourself, obviously. But when you click here, it will add you to the actual channel. And right now we're at 995. We need 5 more. Maybe we'll have it tonight, who knows? And then we'll hit the 1,000 mark. And once we hit the 1,000 mark, then we can have our own channel and start doing a lot more stuff. But what's interesting is the moment we upload new content, for example, Tammy this morning did a video on the success cycle, and I'm just in the process of editing it right now. And the moment it's uploaded, before email goes out and everybody gets notified, you'll be receiving a notification from YouTube stating that a new movie has been uploaded to this channel. So that way you'll have access to that. Okay. So just want to let you know. And also wanted to remind you, maybe for some of you not aware, that on the resource, under the video section, if you are looking for this call this evening or you'd like to share it with someone else in your team, if you go under the Go for Diamond webinar, well, that file will be over here, the one that we're doing right now. And you can actually click these links and you can share this with any of the social media environment that you're looking for. Okay, so just thought of mentioning that as we're going forward. So let's go back to this presentation here. Okay, so Tammy, do you have any other comments you'd like to add that I might have overlooked before we begin?
No, we can go ahead.
Okay, perfect. What's really important understanding the compensation plan as I start sharing some of the addendum and enhancements that Max has done is I think very often people lose sight of the real purpose of this plan. And what's really important to understand, because we've been talking about the primes, since 2015, especially 2016, 17, 18, 19, we really have been pushing hard on building primes, getting your 5 and making sure you duplicate the process. But what's really, really important, especially a brand new associate or someone who's trying to understand, okay, how does that work? How do I earn money with Max? I think the very important thing is to understand that the very first step that you need to duplicate is exactly this one over here. So one of the things is you need to be 100 CV. When I say PV is personal volume, if you're talking about your order, but your downline, the people in your business, we call CV. So that's the language, just so we're consistent when you're sharing. PV means personal volume, which generally means that you have some customers or it is your personal orders. That's what PV stands for. And then when you talk about your downline, this would be your downline 1 and 2 here, these two individuals. That would be CV, commissionable volume. And the logic means that you are being paid. So it's a commissionable volume. Okay, so that's why it's called CV. And when often people don't really understand the binary portion, but you can really look at it in 2 different ways. Really, to really understand the logic is the company will take an equal amount from both sides. And that's what this states over here. It will take an equal amount from both sides. And the equal amount cannot be more than the maximum that the smaller side has. Let me rephrase that. Basically, the team, who's the smallest team, will be the maximum amount that can be deducted because you can't take more than 2,000 from this side. So if you take an equal amount, that's what they mean here by equivalent volume. EV, equivalent volume, means that the same amount has to come from both sides. So if one side has more than the other, well, what the company does, just bear with me here, I'm just going to get my notation pen. And I don't use it often, so hopefully that'll go well. So for example, when you're talking about equivalent volume, okay, so in this side we have 2,500 and this side we have 2,000. So the company will take 2,000, so this will go down to 0. This one over here, there will be 500 CV that will be carried over on the next month. So on the next month, this side starts with 500 CV and this side starts with 0. And whatever new business occurs starts accumulating again. So now what happens is they will deduct the 2,000 from both sides. So what it says here is it pays 5% of the equivalent from each binary leg. So what happens, it will take 2,000 from here. It will take 2,000 from here. It will take 5% of that and 5% of that, which turns out to be $100, $100. When you add these two, so $100 plus $100, I think you understand that that's where you get the $200 income, okay? So that's where this comes from. But there's another way to look at it to make it easier on the eye is, let me just clear that up. Understanding that that here is 2,000. Well, you can also say, well, it's 10% from the smaller leg, the side who has less amount of volume, because that's a determining amount. So 10% of 2,000 will equate to $200. That's what they're talking about here. Okay, so when people say, well, how come you don't get paid from both sides? You do. It's just that it's kind of easier to the eyes when you look at it that way. Okay, so where's my mouse? Here we go. Okay, let me clear that up. My mouse disappeared. I can't. Okay, clear.
So while Chris is doing that, so step 2 is to maintain at least one personally enrolled active associate on each binary leg with 100 CV.
That's
To
correct.
them, it'll be personal volume, but to you, down will be CV. So you want to make sure that these 2 personals are active for you to get paid whatever it is on your binary.
That's exactly it. Okay, so understanding that is very important. Now we duplicate the right behavior. Okay, so we build a left team and we build a right team, and the process that we need to understand in building the left team and the right team. See, in the past, when we used to build Max, we were when we used to build our business, we were talking about the binary team all the time. So we're focusing on the left, focusing on the right. And often what happens is someone can end up with a big side because they're not really doing much, but they gladly take ownership of the volume they see underneath them. And they look around and say, well, what about my other side? Am I going to get paid? So how do we resolve this issue? Well, this is where we came up with the understanding of the prime bonus. Okay. Now, when you look at the prime bonus, it might seem a little bit confusing because, again, you see the 3 side by side, and often people get confused. How does that work with the binary? This is really just a representation of the people you personally enroll. So let me come back to that in a minute. So what's important to understand at that point is the company in the past, they used to give 5% from the total CV worldwide. Now, you may say, well, now we're only getting 5.2%. Well, no. In fact, first of all, that 0.2% is significant. We're talking world global volume here. But also what's been changed is before, everybody in the world was in a position to earn the prime bonus. So what happened is all the leadership, the diamonds and crowns and triples and from all different markets that are building their businesses came together for about 4 months, and we were going back and forth to come up with a solution on how can we best serve the team. So the first thing we decided to recognize is, why don't we just pay that to associates, which are just getting started, which haven't earned in income yet, all the way up to the silver rank level. So what this has done is that it removes all the associates from gold and above worldwide to make sure that the fund stays for the new people. That has allowed a lot more money for the prime bonus levels as we start talking about the share, and I'll come back to that in a minute. This is really, really important. So now we excluded all the associates outside of silver. So anybody who's above silver don't qualify for that anymore, and you're going to get to another kind of bonus, which I'll share in a minute. And we added another 2%, which what we found when Max did the model, they modeled this change as if we were getting paid with this compensation plan as of 2019, actually the beginning of 2020. And the numbers were very attractive when it comes to one share. So one share, level 1, prime bonus level 1, was actually quite similar. In some cases, it was more than $50, which is what people want in the first place. And the old plan, what happened, just to recap a little bit, is the 5%, it was including all associates around the world. And sometimes these amounts went as low as $23. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of folks saying, well, you know what, Max is not paying so well. That's not true. It's because all they saw in how they build a business is prime 1, prime 2, and prime 3. They didn't focus on the binary. They didn't focus on a matching check. And of course, when they look at the volume, or I should say the monetary aspect going down for prime bonus level 1, they thought that Max wasn't paying out. But understand that the prime bonus is not the main component of the compensation plan. It is designed to build the foundation to your binary team. And we'll get back to that in a minute. So the prime, it's not the fact that we want to pay our mortgage with the prime bonus. It's designed to encourage the associates to start earning an income. But in the same time, because if each individual starts sponsoring their own personals, and in turn, we teach them to sponsor their own personals, it solidifies the binary portion, which is what I'll come back to in a minute. So if you have any questions on that, I'll just pause. If not, I don't see anything right now, so I'll just continue.
So basically, it's that stepping stone. The prime bonus is a stepping stone to get paid into your ranks, because one of the things that we all want to have is to make sure that our associates are actively consuming 100 points every month. So if we get them to prime 1, then a portion of their auto ship is automatically paid, right? So if they get to prime 2, then they get the 3 shares, and it'll pay for their auto ship and a little bit of profit moving into the bronze. So this is a great decision that Max made, obviously with a huge input from the leaders, with this prime, leaving it for the senior associates right up to the silver rank, active, qualified that month.
So for example, if one share happens to be $45 or $57, then that's the amount that the prime bonus will get. If you happen to be a prime bonus level 2, then what happens is they will give you 3 share. So when you look at 3 share, so you're looking at 3 times, let's say we round it up, and let's say we say $50, right? So it will be 3 times $50. So now we're looking at $150, right? With 3 shares. If you happen to be a prime bonus level 3, that's 5 shares, right? So in this case, what we're looking at here is looking 5 times $50, right? So now we're at $250, okay? So that could become quite attractive. And again, this is not cumulative. You basically get 1 share, 2 share, or 3 share. It's as simple as that. It's very straightforward, and it's actually, again, a monetary incentive to encourage associates to duplicate the process. And what's really important here, when you look at my cursor disappears, I notice when you do the PowerPoint format. This is not all that user-friendly. This is really, really not. I got to figure something out on this one. There we go. Okay. So for example, when you move on to, we'll go back to the binary in a minute. When you move on to the next aspect that we worked on, see, now we have what we call the rank bonus pool. And dealing with the rank bonus pool, this is another incentive that the company added, where before it used to be 1%. And what happened is it was only paying the platinum, diamond, double, triple, and crown. And the amounts were increasing significantly for these ranks. And we're saying, well, listen, as diamonds and above, we already have quite a bit of an incentive with the binary income, the matching check income, and everything else that comes with it. Why don't we just kind of make it more fair? So what we mean by that is, first of all, when I mentioned earlier, when someone qualifies for the prime bonuses and you reach, let's say, the level of gold, then at that point they get off the prime bonus pool to make sure the money stays for the new people. And now you fall into a rank bonus. So same thing over here is that you will have, they're allowing 1.2%. And as you reach the goal, you will have 3 shares. And I believe I have the next slide. Oh, not in this one. So you'll actually have 3 shares that will actually, and I'll show you a slide with more details over here for the level of goals, the level of gold. Platinum, you will get 4 share. The diamond and above, it's 5 shares. And the reason is that we don't want to penalize an associate who works so hard to get to diamond, says, hey, now you're a diamond. No, we're not going to give you this anymore. We want to encourage the right behavior and wanting to get people to continue moving up and not losing money when you move up. But we figured that once you reach diamond, well, you don't need to give more for double and triple and crown. They can get more money and their binary team because that's what they're working so hard to grow. So what's happening, what's important here is now you can earn shares based on just maintaining your rank. And some of you are probably saying, well, what if I reach the goal and then I go back to a silver? Well, then you go back to, you get off the rank pool. Obviously, you won't be getting, but you'll fall back into the prime bonus shares. This is something that we discussed, that we don't want to penalize an associate who have worked hard to get to goal, and something might have happened, change. Sometimes, it's like it's like a heartbeat, right? You reach a peak, you reach your goal level. Next month you end up at silver. It's it's normal until you get back up there. So then you're still in a position to qualify for your prime bonus. Okay, so I hope that kind of answers some of those questions. So I'd like to kind of shift into a training that Tammy and I are preparing. Now it's not ready to be shared right now, but I just want to share a few components that I think are important to share here. So let me just kind of refocus my share screen, and I think that will be better. Okay. So for example, as I said over here, to have a bit more clarity, we talk about the how to initiate your business center. And Tammy just finished that training today, and I think it'll be very helpful. And we talk about the prime bonus. We talked about the fact that it's 5.2%, and it's basically paid as from senior associate all the way up to the silver rank. Okay. And again, all the details are here. We'll go there in a minute, and I'll show you where to access it. What's important here to understand is, again, you help 3 associate get 1 share, then you get to level 2, and then you get 3 shares and so forth. Okay. Now, what's really important to understand here is the prime bonus. It is not an income to live on. And we found that in different markets, people would settle where they sponsor 5 people and they stop and they manage 5 people. I got prime 1. Now I'm going to get my prime 2 and my prime 3, and that's all they focused on, right? And
stay at prime 1.
That's right. So it didn't encourage the right behavior. And that is correct, Kelly. It will be taking place on December 1st. This is when this is taking place. Okay, this is where it's going to be active. We got to give time for everybody to absorb and study and understand. And Max also is implementing this within the compensation plan structure and everything else. So everything has to be bulletproof before it sets, and they need it up to December 1st. That's correct. So this, to go back to the slide here, this is the prime bonus aspect. Now, what's really important to understand, the reason why the primes are important is the fact that it creates a solid foundation to maintain your pin rank, so you can maintain your level as, for example, bronze. We'll get back to that in a minute. And again, how this works is your personal volume, which is what you would order, or your downline, your associate. And every time someone qualifies, because you count their 100 PV plus the 500 CV. So that creates blocks of 600. So often associate says, Chris, how do I get to become a diamond associate? Well, this is exactly what I was explaining to all the people who've been mentored. You need to think in the process of duplication. Because if you do that and you duplicate prime 1, I know we can get prime 2, prime 3, that's fine, but it's going to happen by default if you duplicate the prime 1. And that is what you need to do. That is the answer to your question. If you happen to be an associate who seriously wants to create a full-time income with Max International, folks, here's the key. You don't want to be a customer gatherer. Now, customer gathering, for me, it's important because it can be transitioned to the business. That's critical. But if you really want to build a serious business with Max, you need to duplicate the process of helping people to qualify for prime bonus level 1. When you do that, and they also want to be prime 1, what's going to happen? Well, that's going to push you to prime 2. Why do they want to be prime 1? Because they also want to duplicate the process that, let me rephrase that. Why is that going to push you to prime 2? Well, because also they want to be prime 1. And they also want to duplicate prime 1 because they want to create the same structure of these blocks of 600 CV into your business. And the reason why associates have reached a crown diamond, the ones that have reached crown diamond in this company, and the triple diamonds and the double diamonds and many of the diamonds that are maintaining their diamond, you can tell because you keep going back to the diamond trips. These are the ones maintaining their diamond income. And the ones that are doing that, they don't wait for their upline to build one of their sides. You're never going to make it thinking that way. You got to take your business under your own hand, and you need to make sure that everybody understands the duplication process. And if they don't, that's fine. Love them where they are. But if you want people to be carried over and above the diamond level to get a solid income, that is the key. So that's why the primes are important. But you don't want to settle on the prime. The prime, it is a building block. It is a bridge to solidify these income over here. And this income will only be solidified only if these volumes are maintained monthly. So if they get to prime 1 and they duplicate the prime 1, they get to prime 2, what you're doing is you're solidifying blocks of 600 CV, which at the beginning may be 5, might be 6, and then it'll be hundreds, and then it'll be thousands, and it'll be tens of thousands. And that's how you maintain a solid income, and you can buy properties across the nation or international and live the lifestyle you want, because these volume will be maintained. So understanding that we are building a binary team, no question, that's how it begins. But to solidify these centers left and right, these are simply the building blocks to make sure that the volumes are constantly increasing and not going like a heartbeat. Okay, that's why the primes are important. It is the foundation behind the binary to maintain a solid binary income. And as you keep moving forward, then of course now you have the matching check bonuses. The matching check bonuses is reflected again of the prime. Why is that? Because each individual that you have sponsored on your left team and your right team, each of them will get a binary income. So you are entitled over here to earn a percentage of the binary income based on your own level, okay? You earn a percentage of the level of your downline. Now, if you think that this is good income over here, okay, you think this is good income, get a hold of that. When you start earning a percentage of hundreds and eventually thousands, eventually tens of thousands of people earning anywhere between a couple $100 to some of them 40,000. It's crazy. That's where the money is. Max is one of the most lucrative compensation plan in the world, mixed with a product that is the envy of the network marketing, with credibility beyond belief. The science we have is unbelievable. And they tap all this with other incentives. For example, these wonderful trips that they take you in. To finish the point on the additions to the compensation plan, what's really important over here is as you start growing your business and you get to these ranks, excuse me for jumping back and forth, but I know that many of you are quite aware of this. You can always go back and watch the video again to get the details. But these are the level: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and so forth. Okay. So what's going on is then you earn a matching check out of these. But in the same time, as you reach the level gold and above, now you fall into a rank. And it's the same thing I was telling you earlier over here. So if, for example, you are earning 1 share, right? Now, some people are saying, well, that share, is that the same as the pool? No, that's a different pool. So really the company total, they use 6.4% of the global income worldwide. So 5.2 is the prime bonus, and 1.2 is the rank bonus. So when you add all of those, you get 6.4. So the 1.2%, obviously it's a smaller, let me rephrase that. It's a smaller percentage, but there's less people. So it's a bigger pool. And a share over here, for example, when they model, I'm just giving you this example, one share was worth something like $120, right? So times 3, 120, right? So that's $360 for 3 share when you get to gold. It was even higher in some cases. It's going to vary from month to month. Keep in mind, if you have 4 shares, then it's 4 times 120. If you have 5 shares, it's 5 times 120. You understand? So this could become very, very attractive as a bonus. And remember, don't take this amount literally, because this will vary from month to month. It could be better, it could be a little less. Okay. So it's really, really interesting how this whole thing unfolds. And I think what's really also very important to understand is that these kind of income used to be only given to platinums and above. Now it's given to gold. And I want to remind you that if you fall from a gold to a silver, you don't lose your position to earn your prime bonus. You'll end up earning them again until you get to the gold level. Okay. I think so far we're good here. Now, let me go back and let me share another component that's actually important. This is the PDF document of the compensation plan the company has provided. And all the details are here. And when you go in your back office, you can access that. When you go to your commission, okay, if you click on the commission volume, unfortunately, folks, I can't log into my back office without exposing all my volume and everybody else's volume. So I suggest that you do that yourself. And also, Max does have a training to walk you through all of this. But when you go through the commission aspect, you'll notice that you can download that PDF. But again, I will make it available on the comment section of this video once it's uploaded. But if you want to read more details on, for example, the prime bonus income, right? Go to page 12, okay? So we end up on page 12 and the details are here, okay? And you're gonna talk about all the details over here, okay? Keeping in mind that you can also get paid with 50 PV, but this is not, for example, if let's say you're on auto ship on 50 PV, but you have a customer that will top up the remaining 50, that counts for you. So you can be on one product as long as you got customers to top it up. And that's what this means over here. I'm not going to get to all the details. You can read this yourself, but this is the details you can find here. So let's go back into the menu here. And let's see here. We're looking at, let's say, the rank bonus pool. This is on page 20. So let's go back to page 20. And here we are. Okay. And this is exactly what the details are over here. And it talks about, again, the shares that are given to the associates that they reach the rank. Here we go. Okay, 5 shares. When you get the diamond level, you get 4 shares. That's why the presentation it's numerical. It's a bit easier to see. And as a gold, then you get 3 shares. And as I said earlier, that could be, you know, an interesting income, and all of that will vary. And the reason why, folks, that was so important is because at one point, Max was paying way more than 5% just to satisfy, you know, they weren't aware of how big this would become. And this needed to be implemented. When he implemented and reinforced the 5%, that's why a lot of prime bonus income went down, and everybody thought Max was taking less, was paying less. That's not it at all. They just reinforced something that was there way back in 2015. And now we've implemented something that I believe is very fair for everybody. It's very, very, very encouraging. Here are another thing that I think, what do I want to mention here? What I really recommend here, folks, is familiarize yourself with this. See, a lot of folks, they really want to earn a serious income with Max, but they have no idea about the compensation plan. It's important that you go through it. This is 12-year-old math. I mean, 12 years old math. It's not complicated stuff. It's just to understand the logic of the enrollment tree. Make sure you understand what enrollment tree means. All the answers are here. And by the way, if you have any questions when you start watching the video and you start commenting, we're very open to your comments, and pose your question there. We'll answer them. And your question could actually help another person that might be silent and that may need some information or more information they're not really asking. Okay, and it could be a lot more information that could be passed on through the Q&As on the comment portion of the video once it's uploaded on YouTube. And this is what it talks about with the CV, the requirements, and all of these things.
Chris, if I can add something, you know, often you see teams in momentum. I don't know if you're seeing this on Facebook or through WhatsApp team platforms. And here's an observation that I've seen when teams are in motion. First of all, the leaders engage. That's number one. When the leaders engage, it creates an excitement for the team to want to build. Also, another thing that I noticed is the teams that are investing in products and not just minimum requirement. If everybody's just minimum requirement consuming their products, how can you build a business? You know, you need inventory, and it encourages you to get this inventory in new prospects' hands. Okay, so you want to invest in your business. So if you don't have the resources to do that when you're new, that should encourage you to work hard to go get new people in the business so you can make fast start commissions, so that you can make prime commissions, so you have extra so that you can start investing this into your business. You know, I remember when I was in traditional business, the first few years, I invested back into my business. I hardly made any income at all because I was investing back into inventory, into my business. And network marketing is no different than traditional business when it comes to having, you know, investing in your business, having inventory available. So think about that as you think about what's going on within your own personal organizations. Is your team ordering more than their minimum requirement? Are they actively engaged in showing up? Are they working on a customer base for people who are not open to the opportunity? They haven't seen the value yet in the product to want to jump in. You need inventory for that. I mean, I've moved the 250 pack that we call the active pack restock. I've been ordering them because I'm moving them because I have new prospects, and not all prospects are ready to jump into the business, especially now with everything going on. They tend to be more conservative. That's when you need the extra 1 week bottles or the intro packs that you're going to create to get these in people's hands so that they can create value and understand why you're so passionate about this opportunity.
I totally agree, Tammy. And to answer your question, Samuel, and let me kind of share that screen again here so we're in the right space with the right information. Okay, so your question here is the bonus that is allowed for the prime bonus and also the rank bonus. Is it a separate fund allowed? Yes. And this is exactly what's going on. So looking at the prime bonus pool, it's using 5.2% from the global bonus, the global volume the company generates on the world scale. Okay, so that's for the prime bonus that would include all three levels. When you get into the rank bonus, in this particular case, it's 1.2% from the max global pool. So really max is allowing 6.4%. It's quite significant because we're dealing with some big numbers here when you look at the world perspective here. And so that's the answer to your question. So there are two separate pools. So one doesn't kind of contribute to the other, won't affect the other than the activity that goes on within the organization. So depending on how many people have qualified, maintained their gold, platinum, and diamond in a particular month, will affect how much funds is allowed in a pool, which will affect what one share is worth, which of course times 3 times 4 times 5. So I hope that helps. Okay. Is there any other questions, comments that we can share? Help you understanding the process. Let me ask you this then. The information that we shared here, is it clear? Do you need a bit more clarity? If it is clear, type in yes for why, or let me rephrase that. Why for yes. Okay, we have 2 who responded. So 2 is clear, 3 is clear. We have about 40 people in the room here. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm teaching you to become proactive and take action. This is wonderful. Thank you for responding, everybody. So it's a very simple thing. Now, some of you are probably thinking, you know what? Are we talking about a lot of money here? Here's what I found over the years building a network marketing business. Often people ask why the company are paying small amounts, for activities. And what I found over the years is if people are even receiving $3 or $4 or $5, obviously it's not going to pay your mortgage. But what it does, it creates a level of credibility and belief. But in the same time, I think that the most impactful of it by receiving this, at the time it was checks, now they're direct deposit. What happens is that it shows the associate that it works. So what we're talking about, and that was just $2 to $3 here. So now what we're doing is that because of the shares and the way the shares are calculated, the share for the prime bonus is much bigger. So instead of being $23, $22, or whatever it might have been at its minimum, I think now the minimum will vary anywhere between, I'm going to go to a minimum of 40, 45. But when we look at the model, it was mostly around 50, 49, 52, 55, 57. And this is in a time where COVID was hitting. So wait till momentum hits. So I think that because there's a lot more money left or allowed for the new person to earn, it's going to create a lot more momentum. And that is what drives excitement, vision. So I really, really believe that small change is going to make a significant difference. But also over and above that, we added the rank bonuses, which actually are anywhere, it starts as a goal from $300. And I'm just talking based on what was modeled. Don't quote me on these amounts because I don't know at all what they will be like. But in some cases, it was even quite more than that in a good month. So I look forward to have that implemented as December. And now what's really important for you to understand in building your business, the primes are just a foundation. It is not an income to rest on. It is designed to build a foundation to support the binary team. Folks, we live in a time and age right now, people are looking for income. It's not they're looking for work, they want work. But work today is different from what it was a year ago because of the environment that we live in. This industry is growing and is growing fast. And there's another thing I want to share with you is often I see people, there's a lot of poachers out there, right? To try to distract the associate, to look at their deals. Always keep in mind that Max International has some very, very strong science that is very hard to beat, very hard to beat. And that is nearly impossible for most network marketing company to afford because you need an excessive amount of volume to support the raw cost and to support the pay structure that Max has to offer. So if someone tries to seduce you by using maybe your innocence on how a compensation plan really works, come to people who understand it. Invite us to get on a phone conversation with them. here's what's going to happen. One is they'll be open and thinking they can convert us. Two, they will avoid it because they know. Or they may not know, but they'll know when we speak. So take advantage of the kind of support you have. And Tammy, we'll finish on this note to go back on the training that we did here today. And I think it's important that you understand the importance of this here. The success cycle is critical. And this here, the third-party credibility has always been the foundation to our success, Tammy and I. And very few people use that. For example, this morning, and I have another call tomorrow morning with Paul, if you don't mind me sharing this, with a very, very powerful, strong prospect of his. And Paul, comment if I'm right or wrong, but that third-party credibility has been instrumental to build a person to the level of interest and what's about to happen right now. Would you agree with me, Paul? I know that you've unmuted yourself.
Absolutely. The credibility you put on this guy yesterday was just blown through the roof. He called me and we talked for 5 minutes afterwards, and now he's set a schedule for tomorrow that he wants you to cover on the Zoom call tomorrow. No, a fantastic job. Thank you.
And again, folks, it's not about the flattery, and I really appreciate Paul. I need you guys to understand that when you are getting paid, the kind of income we're getting paid for the past 10 years, remember, we've been in Max for 13 and a half years, it's going to be 14 February. There is a level of credibility and posture when you speak. And it's not conceit, it's not being bold, but it's being confident and being very credible on the confidence I have that this can really support. And it's not just what has happened to us, it's what has happened to others that has utilized that. And if there's something that's missing in your business, this is it. This is it. You're not utilizing the power of a third credibility who has made millions doing this. Bring them over. I'm not saying we're going to recruit everybody. What I'm saying is we're going to make him think real hard on walking away from something like this. So these modules are very important. And Tammy and I are redoing all our videos professionally. Right now, we've done this particular training, and you'll see that it'll be done in a few days. Well, it should be done by tomorrow or so. And I really, really, really recommend for you to make sure that you join our well, I can't speak here. Our session. Where is this here? Okay. When you go to activeteam.com, let me go back again, making sure that you are subscribing. The more you are plugged in to the environment of credibility, the more powerful you become in building your business. And that's what we're talking about on this training. And it finished with this. Absolutely critical. You need to stay plugged in to help you grow. I find that a lot of time in this business, people try to be lone rangers, right? They want to do this on their own. And I honor that. And this is wonderful. But the reality here is lone rangers in our time and age, in the way we do business, will not survive. People need to know that you are part of a group, a support, an organization. That is critical. What are your last words, Tammy, as we end the call?
I just wanted to share with all of you, we're up to some really fun new things that each week we're going to be launching some new stuff. So stay tuned, stay plugged in. We can't stress that enough. It's nice to have some of you who haven't been on for a while and just stay plugged in, because we're working on a new MAP, a max action plan to replace the existing. And we're working on updating the new associate orientation to have more details in that as well. And we're working, like Chris said, we're going to be doing videos on a regular basis, upgrading all the PowerPoints. You know, a lot of those were done like 5-6 years ago, something like that. So as you can imagine, if you're actively building your business all the time, your skills have improved, your posture has improved, things have improved. So you'll see a big difference in the newer videos that you'll recognize in the success cycle versus the older ones. So stay tuned for all of that. We're working hard in the back end for you.
Absolutely. So folks listening, we want to thank you for joining in, and we hope that you got some insight and what we shared was helpful for you. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, Max is growing and we're going places, and there's a lot of update coming up. Stay tuned. Do not walk away. I'm telling you, the worst that you can do is to walk away from something that could become an empire. Stay the course. Stay the course. You know, recently, Tammy, was that movie with a young girl playing chess on Netflix? I know many of you have saw that.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Not really, yeah.
It is so inspirational. You know, if you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, I'm just going to go right there and look for that name. Hopefully it'll pop right in. And of course it won't, because, oh, here we go. It's called The Queen's Gambit. And this is based on a real story. And the adversity that this young girl went through is unbelievable. But despite everything that went wrong, she stayed the course. She kept participating. And at the end, man, did she ever get the prize. And I do recommend for you to watch that. It's very inspirational. Again, it's on Netflix and it's called The Queen's Gambit. Worth it, amazing. In fact, I'm looking at it here in Canada. Happens to be the ¡1 viewed. It's a series of about 7 different episodes. Absolutely wonderful.
Of course, don't be watching TV when you're supposed to be building your Max business.
I agree. But sometimes we need inspirational material or inspiring.
Late at night, or whenever
Exactly.
you're not building your business, for sure.
Follow people that are staying the course. Follow people that are having success. There is so much negativity out there. You listen to the news and all you hear is, excuse me the expression, but crap. And it's discouraging. So the fact here, folks, is Max is bringing something good. And we need you to deliver that. And the good news is you're not doing it for free. But you do need to apply the right activities and the right principles for you to be able to get to the success level that I know you want to achieve. So I've asked yourself to unmute yourselves as we end this call. So we hope that you enjoyed it, and we want to thank you for attending, and we look forward to share with you again on the next Monday call. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris and Tammy.
Yeah, did it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wonderful.
Thank you, guys. Great call.
Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris and Tammy. Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
Good
Take
night.
care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that's wonderful. We have people from Cebu, from the Philippines, all of that's wonderful. Well done. People from Ghana, Nigeria, super late for you. Thank you for being here. And of course, we have a team from Canada, the United States. Again, everybody have yourself a great, great night. We look forward to share. Bye, everybody.
Good night.